My raise vanished, then our biggest client sued us. I'm 38 and I work as a contracts analyst at a tech startup in Seattle, or at least that's what my title said back then. In reality, I was the person who actually read the contracts everyone else just skimmed and signed with a smile. On Friday at 4:30 p.m., I got an email from HR. Subject line, your raise request. The message was short, polite, deadly. Due to budget reallocation, your raise got lost in legal. Let's revisit next quarter. Lost in legal. I stared at the screen for a long second, because I was legal. I was the one who read every clause, every footnote, every buried sentence meant to never be noticed. Our general counsel spent more time golfing than reviewing agreements. If something was lost in legal, it meant it was sitting on my desk. This was the third year in a row they'd denied my raise. Meanwhile, I just processed a $15,000 bonus for a junior developer who had crashed our system twice the previous month. I knew because I handled the paperwork. I didn't get angry. I got quiet. That evening, I went into the file room and pulled the contract for our biggest client, an $80 million 5-year deal with Titan Logistics. I remembered it well. I'd written it myself 3 years earlier when the company was desperate and broke and willing to agree to almost anything to survive. On page 38, buried deep in the legal language, was clause 12B. It said that if the platform hit 3 consecutive quarters of 99.99% uptime, while processing more than 5 terabytes of data, the IP architect would receive 0.5% of the total contract value as retroactive royalties. The IP architect's signature line had my name on it. I checked the performance logs. We hit those numbers 18 months earlier. No one noticed, because no one reads the contracts except me. That meant they owed me just over $400,000, plus interest. I'd originally written the clause as a poison pill, something to protect the company if it was ever acquired. The current executives had never bothered to read the old agreements. They had no idea the clause even existed. Sunday night, I made a call. I rang David Chen, head attorney for Titan Logistics. We'd worked together for years. He respected details. I respected him. I told him I was reviewing the master agreement, specifically clause 12B. There was a long pause on the line. I explained the milestones had been met, the royalties hadn't been paid, and I'd just been denied a cost of living raise. He laughed once, sharp and humorless. That's a breach of contract, he said. And if you're operating their systems without compensating the IP owner, that compromises the entire licensing agreement. I told him I wanted to give him a heads up before anything formal happened. He thanked me. Said they'd be sending an audit notice Monday. Tuesday morning, the email arrived. Urgent audit required regarding IP compensation protocols. Response needed within 48 hours. Our CEO forwarded it to legal with a note that said, probably compliance noise. Legal forwarded it to finance. Finance forwarded it to me. Mara, can you draft a standard response? My boss wrote. Don't spend too much time on it. They were asking me to investigate my own unpaid royalties. I replied that I'd look into it. Said it might take a few days to pull the files. I didn't send anything. The 48-hour deadline passed. Friday morning, finance noticed Titan Logistics had frozen their payment. During the meeting, someone flagged the royalty clause in the system. Delete that, the CFO said. We don't pay royalties. Reclassify it as a system error. I wrote down the time, the date, who was in the room. They had just committed fraud in front of witnesses. Monday morning, we had our all-hands meeting. The CEO was on stage talking about growth and vision when the back doors opened. 2 men in suits walked in, followed by David Chen. The room went silent. The CEO was served on the spot. Civil lawsuit, breach of contract, IP theft. Titan Logistics was terminating the $80 million deal and revoking our license unless debts to the IP owner were settled immediately. The CEO stammered that we owned the IP. Read page 38, David said calmly. Our general counsel grabbed the papers. I watched his hands start to shake. The raise, he whispered. He looked up and finally saw me standing in the crowd. Everyone turned. I walked to the front, smiled politely and said, I think my raise just got found in legal. I handed over my lawyer's letter. Whistleblower protection. Formal demand for $482,000 in back royalties. They paid by Wednesday. I got promoted to director of compliance. The CFO was fired, and our general counsel actually reads contracts now.